Hello everyone, today I have a LEGO Star Wars set review of the 75372 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack. This fun versus battle pack has a combination of 9 minifigures and 215 pieces for a low price of $30. As you can tell on the box, there's a lot to unpack here and quite a bit included for that price tag. Now is it worth it? We're going to open the box and find out. Now, like I already mentioned, you get a total of 9 minifigures, so that's quite a bit. You have 4 clones and 5 battle droids. For now, I'll start with the clones. You get 3 plain Phase 2 clone troopers, and they all look really great. They have the exact same helmet molds that we've come to expect, with the holes up top, and underneath the same exact heads as always. Same can be said about the torso, this is the same exact printing we see on all general clones. That said, it looks really great here, and I'm glad that we get to see a full decked out Phase 2 clone in just plain white. It's a very clean look for the classic clone trooper. It's also very nice of them to add 3 of them in this set, making it very easy to army build them if that's your style. The only slight difference out of these 3 guys is that 2 of them come with a short blaster and then 1 of them comes with a long rifle. I do like the mix up as those long rifles with the candlestick pieces look really good in my opinion. Next after that we have the Shock Trooper. Now this isn't the first time we've seen this figure, he has appeared in the Coruscant Guard gunship as well. Of course, he has the same prints as the previous clone, but this time they're accented with a bunch of red details. Specifically, this helmet absolutely blows me away. I love all the tiny little red stripes on there. It's so detailed and looks fantastic. Even the red prints in the cheek area are really neat. Even though they're not accurate, it still looks really good, and I love the amount of color on this figure. That same deep red is all over this clone with his chest plate, his utility belt, and even a few markings on his legs. Around the back is mainly just white, but the utility belt does follow all the way around, which is pretty cool. This guy's equipped with some small binoculars and a blaster. Not sure how much those fit, but it works pretty well. Moving on to the droids, we'll start with the Super Battle Droids. The B2 Battle Droids finally made their return, and they were wonderfully recreated. The mold is very similar to what they used to use. There are a few little details you can tell here and there that it is a little different. Some things just feel more pronounced than they used to. I'm glad they stuck mostly with the old mold though, as there was no issues with it besides its durability. So hopefully they have that figured out, but otherwise this is just a stellar droid. They did a good job and I'm glad there's 3 of them here. They've been absent from LEGO for so long, so having 3 of them in one set is quite the treat. The other 2 droids we have in this set are simple B2 battle droids. These are the ones we've known for forever, and they're still just as good as they were in 1999. We have one droid that's equipped with the classic straight arm and curved arm, but one of them actually has 2 curved arms. This is so he can sit better on the stab speeder. You'll notice he also has a clip included for his back, where he can put his blaster when he's flying around. I like the addition even if I'm probably just going to take it off, because it looks a little weird. But I still like that addition as it makes it easier to keep the entire set together. In totality, these 9 minifigures look great together. This was such a good pick for a battle pack. They did a wonderful job with the lineup of characters and the price point. You really feel like you're getting your money's worth here, which isn't something that can be said about LEGO too often. I love all the clones and even the droids they did very well on. I'm glad they chose to use more Super Battle Droids as that's really what this set's about. Getting those guys back into production. Same can be said with the plain Phase 2 clones. These haven't been seen in ages, and so I'm glad they chose to include 3 of those, as the Shock Trooper can be found in other sets. This is a very solid lineup for the set and enticing all by itself. However, let's take a look at these builds. I want to start with the droids. They easily got the better end here. Their builds are much more substantial and just feel better. This Tri-Droid is the biggest build in the entire set, and they did very well with it. Starting with the legs, they have a perfect shape down. The clips connecting the legs give you a pretty good range of movement, but they also just create the perfect look for the droid. They also have a substantial amount of detail that liven it up and make it look not so boring. It's nothing groundbreaking, it is a battle pack, but it still looks nice. Then right above that you'll notice there are some flick-fire missiles on this build, which is awesome to see. This is a classic LEGO staple from the early Clone Wars days, and it really sends it back to that. This is very nostalgic for me to see, as of course, these were about on all of my sets growing up. I love the inclusion even if they are a little hard to work with here. It's kind of tight to get your hands in there. They still work decent though. Finally, above that, you have the head and the brain of the Tri-Droid. And yes, there actually is a brain in there. They put like this translucent little pink piece that actually looks super cool. It's got this sparkle to it. I'm not sure what color this is, but it's really neat. Outside of that, you have the blasters and the eyes, and those look really amazing as well. For such a small, simple build, they actually did a very nice job. And even though it's not a showstopper, I really like this build. The next build the Separatists have is the Stap Speeder. We haven't seen this build for a while, and I'm glad it finally made a return. It looks very good here, very sleek. The design hasn't changed too much, but that's okay because they've always had this down pretty well. The droid's arms connect above, and then his feet kind of just dangle below, but it's an okay look because he has a little ledge to set them on. It's a relatively simple build, but they got the curves just right on the front. It's a very good looking speeder, and I'm glad to see it in the set. Next, let's go ahead and move on to the clones, which have two builds in the set. Both of which aren't necessarily the strongest builds, but they still work pretty well. The first one up is the speeder. This one just kinda is lacking any real detail. Whereas the Tri-Droid had some greebling on it, this one doesn't have much, if any. Up front looks nice with the candlesticks on the end of the speeder. Then you follow that to the front with that nice curved piece and a handlebar. But then after that, it gets pretty plain. There's nothing else really going on back here. There's two seats open for clones, and then even room for blasters on the back. But two blasters on the back at the same time looks a little funny to me. The sides are very plain as well. The stud shooter's there, which is a fun addition. I always love stud shooters, but it juts out really far, and that's the only detail on the side, so it makes it even more obvious. It sticks out and isn't a good look, even though I love it from a playability standpoint. And when you step back, just look at this speeder. You can just tell it doesn't have a lot of effort thrown into it. It looks really simple and like something a kid would build. I suppose it's serviceable for a battle pack though. The next build we have to talk about is this turret, which has a stud shooter right on top. Very obvious, but also very fun, and it works in this case because it is the blaster. Trickling down, I love the look of this barricade. The front slope combined with those shields looks very good. It's an interesting technique with very few pieces, but I love the look of it. Around back, there's even a couple extra clips if you wanted to put some blasters or those binocular pieces on them. The last little secret this turret holds is that these shields are actually made to come off. Well, of course it's LEGO, they come off on their own, but the instructions actually advertise it as being able to come off and act as shields for the clones. I absolutely love the look of these guys holding them. It works with the shock trooper very well, as he looks like he's holding a riot shield. A very cool inclusion, and I love the accessories in the set. Moving on, there actually is one last build to talk about, and that's just this crate. I don't know if you can really call it a build, but I guess it is. Inside you will find a thermal detonator or two, which is a nice addition as well. Nothing that's going to make or break this set, but I guess it's cool. So there we have it. All four of these builds are actually pretty good. The clone speeder is the only one I find lacking. Otherwise, for Battle Pack, they're all really good. Even the speeder I was maybe a little too hard on, but I feel like it would have been pretty easy just to add a couple extra pieces and fix the entire speeder. Honestly though, not a huge deal because of course with Battle Packs, the main appeal is always the minifigures, and in this case that set knocks it out of the park. So altogether you can probably tell I really love this set. They did a great job with it. It's a perfect Battle Pack. For $30 you get such a good value here in builds and minifigures. LEGO knocked this one out of the park, and it's one of the few sets I can say at retail value is a good deal. That's not something you hear too often about LEGO anymore. But when you consider that a normal Battle Pack is $20 and this set is $30, you know you're getting a good deal. They did a terrific job, and I love all the nostalgic elements as well. I didn't mention this, but the clone builds are a throwback to the classic clone Battle Pack, the original. Then you have the flick-fire missiles on the Tri-Droid. It's just a very nostalgic set, including the box art, which is a throwback to the old Clone Wars movie. This is just a really fun set and one of my favorite from the past few years. But now I want to hear what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Is this the best Battle Pack ever? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you do want to pick this set up, I will have a link in the description, so make sure to check that out. Thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.